All right, let's talk about fleeing from the police and getting a search warrant for their phones that they leave in the car. Hey guys, my name is Anthony Bandiero, attorney and senior legal instructor for Blue Gold Law Enforcement Training, bringing a roadside chat from the studio. So, looking at my iPad here, this question is from an officer in Texas. Love Texas. So, the officer says, all right, we conducting routine patrol in a high crime area where I and other officers have made many arrests, daily calls for service, shootings, etc. It sounds like a lovely place. I hope that you have homes for sale in this location. Pull into a parking lot and observe and make eye contact with a subject sitting in a vehicle. As soon as I drive past the vehicle in question, the driver turns on the vehicle and exits the parking lot. After I go after him, by the time I exit the same lot, vehicles is significantly far away. So he's hauling ass, quite frankly. Okay. Appears to be trying to distance himself from me. Okay. Catch up to the vehicle and make a probable cause stop. Okay, we'll talk about that. Vehicle slow rolls and pulls into an apartment complex. Continues to slow roll. Driver and sole occupant evades on foot. Now we're talking, right? Leaves behind his two cell phones. By looking up the vehicle on previous contacts, recent traffic stops, I was able to find a subject who, in my opinion, is 100% my suspect. Suspect is wearing the same clothing from when he evaded and when he was stopped previously. Okay, he doesn't have a lot of wardrobe here. Multiple Facebook profile accounts wearing his signature clothing attire. Do-rag, white t-shirt, same facial hair, etc. So, wrote up a case for evading, being told that we may not have enough to get a warrant for the cell phones to find out who they belong to and for the warrant. Okay, so let's establish some ground rules here so we can answer the question. The first one is, what is reasonable suspicion? Reasonable suspicion are facts and circumstances that lead a reasonable person to believe that there's criminal activity afoot, right? Another way of saying is that there's a moderate chance that these people that you're stopping and detaining, at least trying to, there's a moderate chance that they are engaged in criminal activity. Okay, the other thing I want to talk to you about is abandonment. Abandonment is when somebody does something, says something, to lead a reasonable person to believe they no longer should expect a privacy interest in that item abandoned. We'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about probable cause, which is a fair probability that evidence of the crime or evidence to convict that person will be found in the place searched and so forth. So the first thing I want to share with you is, do we have reasonable suspicion when we roll into the high crime area and see this guy behind the wheel, he sees the cop, and he lights up the vehicle and starts driving away? And the answer is no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I'm not saying this officer thought he had it. He was getting behind him. But the point is if we say that those facts alone, I know it's a high crime area, but a lot of people live in a high crime area. It's called Houston. If with those facts alone, can we just pull people over? No, because a lot of people see you and just want to kind of like leave the area. Okay. I like to say in my classes that there's a difference between avoidance and evasiveness. People can avoid law enforcement in 2024 and beyond without being stopped, right? People can be left alone. Quite frankly, nothing personal, but there are times I just want to be left alone too, right? I love you guys, but maybe I don't want to be contacted either. I just want to be left alone. And I'm not saying I do stuff like this, but it wouldn't be reasonable suspicion for the person to see and be like, you know what, I'm gonna kind of get out of here. The police are here. I don't like to be around police and so forth. Okay, so right now we don't have enough. Just driving away is not enough. Okay, the next thing is when the officer pulled out to the street and this guy hightailed it out of the area. Now, do we have evasiveness? I believe we do. High crime area plus evasiveness seems to be a moderate chance that this particular person was up to something. The police officer triggered that guilty mind behavior, and now they got the hell out of there. The best case for that is Illinois versus Wardlow, where the Supreme Court made it very clear that going about one's business is not reasonable suspicion. right? It's not suspicious. But escape is something that is the opposite. It's not going about one's business. It's the opposite, right? It's trying to escape. Like you're changing your whole plans, and you're getting the heck out of an area because the police officers are present. So that's and that's what we got here. I think that when the officer articulated high crime area, lit up the car immediately when he saw the police officer, then once he got into a straight narrow street, he just hit it. That is evasiveness. Now the next thing the officer said was, I was going to make a probable cause stop. Negative, because I don't hear anything in here about a motor vehicle violation. What we have is still reasonable suspicion. Again, the officer is saying probable cause. He probably meant reasonable suspicion. I get that. But probable cause means that we can arrest or cite the person. What are we going to arrest them or cite them for? Right? Unless they were speeding, unless they didn't use their signal. But we have no evidence there. The next thing is that once they stopped, they slow rolled, they fled on foot. Now let's talk about abandonment. Is there a good argument that when these people did everything they just did, and then they knew the cops are right behind them, and they just took off running from that car, that they have abandoned their vehicle? There are a lot of courts out there that would say yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. There are a lot of courts that say yes. But it all depends. I need some more facts. So, for example, did they pull into a place? Did they take a parking spot that was assigned to somebody else? Right. That's indicate they should they shouldn't expect privacy anymore. They're taking up people's spaces. They're running. Did they leave the keys? I'm not saying we're done. Did they leave the keys in the car? Did they leave the doors open? Right. Those are things that could indicate an abandonment, an intent to I don't expect privacy. I just want to get the heck out of here. I don't care what I'm leaving behind. So I'm not saying that a person running from a car in and of itself is abandoning the car and everything in it. But I'm certainly saying it's a big clue. It's a big indicator that they are, okay? And then we're on our way. So everything the evasiveness, the running, again, I want some other factors about the car and so forth. So I guess what I'm saying is that if I had a few more facts about why they should not expect privacy in their cell phones, I would just say you can download them under you can download them under abandonment. And there are definitely plenty of cases from Texas and beyond that have upheld downloading cell phones that were abandoned. Often those cases where the cell phone was found at a crime scene. There was a case out of Harris County where, I don't know the name of the case off the top of my head, but the case was where a person was in a shootout with some people and left a cell phone on top of a car, fled, and Harris County downloaded it without a warrant. The court upheld that under abandonment. Should we download the phone here without a warrant? It's a little iffy. Again, if we have those other facts like door left open in the car, keys are in the car, all that kind of good stuff, then I'm way more comfortable with it. Finally, probable cause. The probable cause is thin if you're looking. I mean, what are you looking for, right? What are you going to tell the judge? What are you going to get out of this car? Now, the one thing is that the cop can get more evidence that this is our person. Right now, remember, we want to prove all cases. The evading case, we want to prove it to what level of proof? I'm listening, right? You want to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. If you download this phone and sure enough it comes back to our suspect, will that help prove that the person in that car was this driver, right? Beyond a reasonable doubt. Could there be other things in there to maybe show motive for fleeing? I don't know. I think that's thin. You would probably need something more than that. But at least you can really you prove that the person in the car and the people in the car, quite frankly, were this and that. And wasn't there another guy in the car too? So what about that person? Are they, obstructing justice and so forth? Would you want to charge them with any crime? Do you need to know who they are? You probably don't know who they are just based on what the facts here. You know who the driver is. But again, I think there was another person in the car, right? Because he said, no, back up. He said the driver and sole occupant. So just one person, and there's two cell phones. So that part kind of confused me. But the point is, will this help you prove beyond a doubt that this is the person who fled? Absolutely. In fact, I got to tell you, if I was your judge, that alone, just proving identity beyond a reasonable doubt, which is definitely a proper motive for investigations, would get you a search warrant in my book. That alone, just looking for identify information. Okay, so that's what I got for you. I hope this has helped. It's a good discussion. Keep them coming. I also pull up our website. Go to bluetogold.com. Check us out here. Look at all the classes that we have around the United States. We have a class in almost every jurisdiction. Check them out. We also have all our classes online. We have phenomenal instructors. Just go to our About page. You're going to see the best instructors absolutely in the nation. Nobody beats our instructors. They're real, cops. We do have a few prosecutors that were in the military and so forth, so we'll give them a little love, even though they didn't wear the badge, but they definitely served honorably. And we have great instructors, and check us out. All right? And also visit us for our free webinars that happen almost every single week. Until next time, my friends, stay safe.